The structure that you use to orient yourself in your life is dependent on your values. And you might say, well, if you don't value human life, let's say, above all, well, then you don't value yourself above all. You value something else above that. You're going to pay for that in one way or another. Now, you might say, well, that's a price that I think is worth paying, or I don't think that human beings should be put on the top. You know, that's your prerogative. But you will absolutely 100% pay in full for everything that you've done and for everything that you haven't done. I mean, how could it be otherwise?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what are you going to do? Reality isn't going to make itself manifest because of your whim. That's not going to happen. And, you know, you can think about that religiously or not. There's no escaping from what is.
If you have big goals and big dreams, along the way, failure is going to happen. So how fast do you get up from that? And you got to teach yourself that. But the biggest key to success in anything you do is you got to have an unlimited supply of fucking you. This drive and passion, and it may come from nothing. Like for me, there was no passion, no drive, no nothing. But I had this fire that I'm going to be somebody. And it has to be there because on all those bad days and all those days you don't want to do shit, you have to be your own motivator, your own coach, your own trainer, your own everything. So to do that, you have to come into work, and work is whatever your work may be, ready to go. And what that means is you may have failed miserably yesterday, but you come to work like, people like, man, you just lost everything. How the hell are you this damn motivated? Because this is what it takes. This is what it takes. And you got to get it from wherever you can. Whether you make up this illusion of your life or this false reality that gets you motivated, whatever gets you motivated, it's got to be here at the tip of your brain at all times. Because in those dark moments, you got to pull it out.
If you think you have room to grow, you do and you will. If you think you're as good as you can be, you're right, and you won't get any better. No matter how great you are, no matter how good things have went, when you're humble, you always feel as if I can do this a little bit better, or you show up with the mentality that you're open to doing things in a better way. You don't never show up and speak in terms of, oh, we did that already, right? Already accomplished that, right? Day one mentality and energy. When I show up, I'm trying to improve every single day. That doesn't mean errors. That doesn't mean opposition. That doesn't mean perfection, right? That means every single day I'm showing up and I'm trying to pursue the quest of becoming better.
Unchosen suffering is going to happen in life.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents are going to pass away, loved ones are going to die, your relationships are going to break down, your body is going to fail you, you're going to become ill or sick or destitute. Things are going to happen that you have no control over. And the only way that you can prepare yourself for unchosen suffering is with chosen suffering.
Right.
You can elect to put yourself into a position to become a stronger alloy of whatever the metal is that you're made of. And by purposefully choosing difficult things, you will armor yourself against that situation. It's still going to suck. But think about how much more fragile you would be if you hadn't overcome all of this stuff.
Look at your circle, right? And in your circle, if the conversation is all about what we hate, I can't stand that song. You see that new fucking car came out? That shit is ass. I can't stand that fucking car. Yo, man, I can't stand this city. Why the fuck we even in this city? What we eating? I hate that place. It's so easy. People don't even listen to it. It's so easy. It can be the smallest shit in the world. The smallest shit, but if it's always hate.
Because I think that people have been told for a while that, oh, if you're feeling sad, there's something wrong with you. When I actually don't think there's anything wrong with when you feel sad. You feel sad? Yeah, you lost friends. You're gonna feel sad. Oh, you were in combat. You had to do some horrible things. You did some things that you regret. There's nothing wrong with that. People make mistakes. Things don't turn out the way that they wanted them to. We made decisions and there was a bad result at the end of that decision. And instead of thinking, oh, I'm a terrible person, no, it's like you made a mistake and that's okay and you gotta move on.
You're gonna have doubt, you're gonna have frustration, you're gonna have anger, you're gonna have mistakes, but those things are necessary for you to gain the skills, all right? So when you really look at what it takes to build something, like from my perspective, I can very confidently say it is very simple. It's inputs equal outputs. It is what I do and what that creates. And if you show up every day and you're effective every single day, and you continue that for as long as you can and keep the ratio of wins much higher than you do losses, meaning like you win, let's say 95% of the days or even 90% of the days, bro, there's no denying that you'll get where you want to go. It just depends on how long it's going to take.
Create a life that you can't wait to wake up to. I live that life. I hate to sleep. I hate sleeping. I love every minute of my life. Love every minute of it. I can't wait to wake up tomorrow. I can't wait to start tomorrow. And when you really feel that way, I really don't give a shit about a lot of things. Everybody judges by success of money or business accomplishments or games you won and things like that. The true measure of success is how happy are you? I know some guys that are crazy rich and the most miserable human beings you could ever meet. If you get up every day and you're really happy and you really do enjoy and love your life and you love you're surrounded by people you love doing it with, you could not be more successful.
There's people who come from fucking literally nothing. No parents, adopted, no money, dirt poor, wearing the same clothes every day, who have built literally billion-dollar businesses, okay? If those motherfuckers can do it, I'm 100% sure that you can do it. So, but it might take that person longer because they didn't grow up with, parents that taught them about business or parents that, taught them basic things in life. So yeah, we all start at a different place. And that means that it might take you longer, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. And that's what you have to understand. If you were born in a shitty spot and that's the card you got dealt, guess what? The reality is you got to do more work. That's what it comes down to.
Just because something is hard to obtain does not mean that it is valuable.
Just because something is hard to obtain doesn't mean it's valuable.
Correct. Yeah, just because it's difficult to get doesn't mean that it's valuable. Look at the car he's driving, look at the watch he's wearing, look at the girl he's with. These things were hard to obtain, so you presumed that they were valuable, but you didn't realize that what's genuinely valuable are friendships and relationships and a comfort and a confidence in yourself and peace of mind and sanity and being able to positively impact the people around you.
Men grow kind from pain. I think that the worst men on earth are the ones who haven't had enough pain. Those are the arrogant pieces of shit people. You're supposed to suffer as a man. You're born to suffer. The whole reason God put men on this planet is to suffer. And the best men are the ones who suffered the most. I wouldn't be top G if I didn't suffer more than anyone else. You're a better man than everyone else if your life was a mess and it was a hardship, because you're not what happens to you, you are how you react to it. And the best men on earth are men who have had their parents die, their best friends betray them, their girl betray them, thrown in jail, their money stolen, stabbed, robbed. And every time something happened to them, they sat there and they looked in the mirror and said, what can I learn from this? How can I stop this happening? Those are the best men. Those are the men respect. Those are the men women want. Why do women love scars? Look, they tried to kill him and they can't. That's why I want him. The best men suffered. You find a man who's never been through suffering and nobody gives a shit about him. Men don't like him and women don't like him. Men are no good without it.
Don't ever be ashamed of anything you've done in your life. Face it, fix it, make it better. We are humans. But then again, if you always think that we're humans, you will always just be a human and always make the same mistakes. You must take this knowledge that you learn from all this shit is knowledge. So I'm just trying to give people that strength to go in the archives of your life, because while you're there's probably something happened to you in your life. Go through the archives, dig it up, study it, and then use it for yourself.
The human mind can only really grow through resistance. You can only strengthen your character and become a really strong person inside if you have resistance, if you fail, if you get up again, and if you work hard, and if you work your ass off, and if you struggle. The more you struggle, the further you're going to go and the stronger you're going to get. So this is just the way the rule works. Anyone that tries to baby themselves and pamper themselves and trying to protect themselves. Oh, I don't want to feel bad. Oh, I don't really want to go through any discomfort. It's over. You're never going to get there. That's just the way it is. I mean, you have to be able to struggle. And if you're not able to, work on that. Work on that you're learning how to accept pain, misery, and discomfort, all of the things that you don't like, because the more you experience the things that you really don't like, the more you can grow and the tougher you get and the more you can handle.
True desire in the heart, that itch that you have, whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire, that itch, that's God's proof to you. Sent beforehand already to indicate that it's yours. And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one, teach one.
We're not men because we face the battle and we get immediately victory every time a battle comes up. We're men because we face the battle and we stay in the battle when we feel like we're losing and we feel like we're getting beat up. But we stay in there and we keep fighting and we plant our feet and we say, until death do I part. This is me and I will fight this battle, regardless of what the battle is.
I think one of the biggest mistakes people generally make, and I'm guilty of it too, is wishful thinking. You know, like you want something to be true, even if it isn't true. And so you ignore the things that, you ignore the real truth because of what you want to be true. This is a very difficult trap to avoid. And like I said, certainly one that I find myself in having problems with. But if you just take that approach of you're always to some degree wrong and your goal is to be less wrong.
When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And when you get to the point where all you want to do is be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. That most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep. And I'm here to tell you today, if you're going to be successful, you've got to be willing to give up sleep. If you really want to be successful, some days you're going to have to stay up 3 days in a row. You got to want to be successful so bad that you forget to eat.
You can't have an easy life and a great character. Show me a trust fund kid that inherited a bunch of money, and I'll show you someone mentally tortured. Having stuff isn't fun. Getting stuff is fun, right? It's not the pursuit of happiness. It's the happiness of the pursuit, right? It's that thing, and it's not like, you know, the self-help. It's not the journey, it's the destination. It's not either the journey or the destination. It's who you become on the journey. And here's the terrible thing about life. It's self-assignment.
It is a huge advantage to come from nothing. Here is why. Because you have the biggest motherfucking chip on your shoulder that you could possibly have. You got fucked in every way. Everybody tells you your shit. Nobody thinks you're gonna succeed. Everybody laughs at your shit. And if you're smart, you could absorb that energy and use it to move forward. And dude, every single successful person at a massive level has this crazy story of how they did it and where they came from. And it's not because they just get there and start making up stories, bro. It's because those people have something to prove. They have a mission. They have an enemy. And those are 3 things that you have to be successful. So if you're one of these people and you're moping around about not coming from nothing, you're blinding yourself to the reality that it's actually one of the biggest advantages for the massive amounts of success that you could create. Do you think that middle-class, weak-ass motherfucker is gonna do the shit that you're willing to do? He doesn't even know what hardship is. Those people are easy as to beat if you come from that place. So like, dude, don't cry about it. Use it to your advantage, and I guarantee you, you'll be much more successful than the soft motherfuckers that come from the rich family that their mom and dad paid for everything for them.
I think what you were bringing up with Joey is a real good point, that a lot of people say, oh, I just want to sort of, they're kind of dabbling in the idea of improving themselves. And the real way to do it is you got to write down what the fuck you want and then go after it. Because otherwise you live in sort of a wishy-washy world. You know, if you decide I'm going to get down to bang, I'm going to do this, I'm going to run a marathon in less than 5 hours, I'm going to, you know, whatever the f it is, you got to write that shit down and go for it. What I tell people is the best advice that I've ever heard, the best advice I ever came up with, is that live your life like you're the hero in your movie. And right now is when the fucking movie starts and your life is a shitbag disaster, like every fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he wakes up and makes a blender full of pizza and ice cream, and that's what he, you know what I mean? Yeah. Those guys where they're like on the brink, they put the gun in their mouth and they put it down because they see a photo of their daughter. Pretend that's you. Pretend you are, right now, you're in the part of the movie that starts and it shows you as a fucking loser. And just decide not to be a loser anymore. Live your life like there's a documentary crew following you around and you are analyzing your own behavior.
You grow in proportion to the weight you take on voluntarily. And it's also true that we have no idea what the upper limit to that is, right? So, you know, you've met remarkable people in your life. People can do remarkable things. And there are inevitably people who took on remarkable burdens. And because they did that, their development was forced by necessity. They were forced by necessity to grow beyond what they were. And who knows what the limit to that is?
Because see, somebody that talk good to you and trick your mind. Yeah. That's why I say suspect evil of no one until see it. Once see it, forget it not. For once an enemy could never be a friend. Big Sam told me when they painted you a picture, don't let them paint you another picture.
Kevin Gates.
Because you could talk good as a bitch and trick my mind.
Yeah.
Now I'm back believing in you again. But you already showed me that you wasn't my friend, so we reward loyalty with loyalty, and we reward disloyalty with distance. I forgive you, but I ain't about to forget and be naive. That's unintelligent.
If you could be everything you could be, you have to voluntarily take on the weight of the worst life has to offer, including the depths of malevolence itself. How are you going to adapt to a situation you won't even admit to?
Right.
Well, so how could it be otherwise than for you to become everything that you could be, you have to embrace all of the catastrophes that life has to offer. Like, how could it be other than that? You're going to hide? You're going to pretend?
Right.
How's that going to work? No one thinks that'll work.
Man, who are you when it goes south, man? Not when you get what you want. We know when the sun's shining and you get what you want, you're going to smile. Right. Babies do that. I give them a bottle, they going to smile. I give them what they want, they gonna smile. I give a puppy a snack, he gonna smile. But when you don't get what you want, when it doesn't go the way you want it to, even if it affects and impacts you on a physical level, who are you? Right? Because that's the person that your kids are gonna learn from. That's the person that your parents raised. That's the person that will go out and either positively or negatively affect and impact the world. Who are you?
So sometimes when you think you're making the wrong decision or you have to making the toughest decision because you're thinking about somebody else and the consequences, if you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret. And that bill from regret is generational. And there's a lot of people listening to this that bill has been passed on from generation to generation, and you are holding that bill right now. And somebody in one of your generations has to pay that bill off.
Love your life, right? You know, find the things that you can enjoy. Be curious. You don't have to have all the answers. But just be curious, because you don't have to have the answers. You don't have to know what you're going to be when you grow up. I'm a hardcore believer that everybody has something that they're really, really, really good at. That could be world-class great. Every single human being on this planet. And the hard part is just finding what that is. And in some places, having resources to enable it. But be curious so you can find out what it is. For anybody young out there listening, you know, enjoy your life, find things to smile about. Be curious, read, watch, expose yourself to as many different ideas as you can, because something's going to click at some point. You may be 15, you may be 25, you may be 55, but it can happen.
I've had many movies go in the toilet. I've lost bodybuilding competitions and powerlifting competitions and all that stuff. So I had made plenty of failures. It's always important to bring that up because people should know that you never will be able to go through life without failures. Failures make us learn. Failures make you stronger. Pain makes you stronger. So I think all of that is good.
Yeah, people don't know how to manage their emotions. I think the more, at least for me, the more I've tried to create space between how I feel and what I do, the more consistent my outcomes have been. The more times I give into that excuse or that feeling, then the more superstitious I become about doing it in the future. Whereas a lot of times if I can just start when I am tired or when something is painful and then still execute about the same as before, I remember feeling terrible during the session, but you can't really see anything. And I think the more times you get that loop going, the more you can separate how you feel and what is required. And the more times you do what is required to get what you want, the more times you get what you want.
I had big dreams. A lot of us have big dreams, big goals. And when you have goals that are maybe outside your reach, you have to know that getting to that goal, you're gonna have a lot of bad days. So I had to teach myself how to fail right. And what that means is when I fail, I can't spend much time in that fail zone. I have to be able to get up and get after the next day just as fast. I don't have time to stay here and feel bad for myself for weeks and months and years because I'll lose that time.
Once you know better, you gotta almost do better. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I refuse to ignore it. I refuse to see it an opportunity that I had to change things and act like it didn't exist.
A blade does not become strong. It does not become tempered until it's been through the fire. Until it's been through the fire several times. And this is just your first or second time through the fire. And there's a lot of hammer work that has to take place. And then you're gonna have to go back in the forge again. And it's hot and it melts you down and you're uncomfortable. And then life is gonna pull you out and it's gonna put you on the anvil and it's gonna hammer on you some more. And you're gonna say, what, am I done yet? Am I a sword for the ages? No. No, you're not. You're not done yet.
Maybe your purpose in life isn't related to your job. Maybe your job is your job and the job is the thing that supports you. And then the rest of your waking hours are devoted to your purpose, whatever that is. And it's beautiful when it happens, but it doesn't always happen, and it's out of our control also.
Yeah.
We can decide. I would say, if you need to have a job to support yourself, that's great. That's a noble thing to do. And follow your dreams. But I'm not saying they're one thing.
Yes.
They don't have to be one thing. And
Yeah.
don't let following your dreams undermine your ability to support yourself.